Hi, this is A. Wilson. That ain't even tells like a CIS. If you like my video, please get attention and consider subscribing. I've been on YouTube or doing videos since Monday because Monday was Labor Day, and then Tuesday we had some scattered showers and thunderstorms, and we had some Tuesday where it kind of blew up my lights a little bit, and then Wednesday we had tropical storms, and like I said, when the weather changed, my back starts to hurt, and my sinus problems start. That's just a little backstory of why I haven't been on for a while. I'm trying to hurry with this video because they already said there's gonna be some more scattered showers later on today. So let me get started. The topic I'm going to talk to you today about is the Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 16, season 16, episode 10 and 11. Uh, episode 10 is meditation and mediation. The episode started off with I got my little notes right here. Uh, I think the episode started off. Let me get my notes. I think the episode started off with Kelli talking to her daughter. Uh, Yeah, let me just go through my little notes right quick and I'll pause it. I was right. It started off with Carol's her daughter in the kitchen cooking, and they're preparing to come over. And Carol said in her confessional that her oldest daughter, Chloe, has a different daddy than her other children. Her other children's daddy is her ex-husband that she is divorcing. And they were supposed to be inviting them over, I guess, for dinner and stuff like that. And Kelli was saying the judge had ruled that her and her kids had to move out of that townhouse that they're in. And she was saying that's why they were looking for a house. And she was saying with all these personalities, that townhouse she had was too small anyway. And so it switched to the next scene. And there's a scene I really want to talk about. Even though Drew, I'm glad Drew did the Carlos King interview, I already did a separate video on that. She did address that she did know about the meetup, but she said the way it was presented to her, it was like happenstance where they just happened to run into each other, Ralph and Shamea and Porsha and stuff, and which I knew, I already kind of knew that was a lie, but then after I started seeing, I knew it really was a lie, and so Shamea came in saying that she wanted to start a podcast with Ralph, and her and Ralph had did a podcast before, and when they did the flashback of Ralph being on that podcast with her and Todd, I was saying, oh yeah, I know when Todd and said he was gonna do a podcast, and it was Todd and Ralph. I can't remember, after he did the flashback. But then, she said, let's address the elephant in the room, Ralph. Let's just enter the room. He said, what's that? She said, is Drew dating Dennis? He said, well, I don't know. She said, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. He said, well, I don't know. I don't know if she's dating Dennis. And then so that's when Porsha walked up and said, oh, hey, how you doing? And then and Ralph pretended like he was looking shocked and surprised and said, oh, you meeting up with Porsha here, Porsha, Ralph? I just want to let you know that Shamea didn't invite me. And me and Shamea was supposed to have lunch anyway and talk about stuff. I didn't even know you was gonna be here. And I'm looking at Porsha. You can't even lie with a straight face, and you can tell. And but like somebody said, I forgot what YouTube who said that Porsha, Shamea, and Ralph are not good actors, which they not. His surprised look on his face, he wasn't surprised. And Porsha, the way she was skinning and grinning, she knew that wasn't surprised. They were just trying to fool the audience, and they did it. And so and so, uh, and so after that, Portia said, "What y'all talking about, Shamia?" And Shamia said, "Well, I just asked Ralph, do we think Dennis and Drew are dating?" And Portia said, "I got text messages." And then Ralph, "You got text messages? You got text messages?" And then She saw the text message. She read the text message. She said, "Yeah, Rap told Drew that he don't want to sleep with her. He want her to run him his money for helping her on them studio stuff." And so I don't think they having no kind of relationship or dating. After I saw this text, he said, "Oh, I really didn't know." And then he looked like he was caught off guard or surprised. And Porsche said, "Have you ever cheated on Drew, Ralph?" And he said, "No, I ain't never cheated on her. I ain't never cheated on her." And then Shamea said, "Do you think Drew cheated on you?" At first I didn't think so, but now yes, I think so. I think she cheated on me with Ty. And I said, they bringing up the same old stuff from a year ago, People tired of it. And so it was like the same, it was like when they was talking about it on the line, they also was talking about it on Basketball Wives. And that's why Drew said on Carlos King that she was mentioning, she was giving everybody a storyline, even people on shows she didn't even know too much about. And I was saying, yeah, everybody was using Drew for a storyline this year. And then uh, after that, they got to talking, and Ralph said, "Y'all ordering lunch?" And they said, "Yeah." And they said, "You ordering dessert too, Porsha?" First time, "Yeah, I'm ordering dessert, and you paying for it." Ralph looked kind of funny, and I was so glad that scene was over because all of them was faking and shaking in line. And Shamea, I don't know how you can get on Porsha's side, the way Porsha been treating you. Porsha been treating you wrong ever since day one, ever since your birthday party. She was late for your birthday party. She didn't come to your wedding, and you still taking up for Porsha against you and all the rest of the class. That's what's kind of irking me about her Shamea. I still like Shamea, but it's some things that she's irking me about and stuff. So on to the next scene. The next scene was Angela. She was talking to Kelli, and she showed Kelli her rental house, and Kelli said, "But you trying to get this house?" She said, "Ain't nothing done. The pool ain't done. She said, "Yeah, I need some work done. The contractor say he gonna come back and finish the work." She said, "I'm just trying to unload this house." She said, they said she paid $300,000. I mean, $300,000 for that house. She said, "I had to go down on it and stuff. And then, so after they got to looking, they went to sit down. And she said, "Kelli, I didn't like what happened at the end of the trip." She said, "You Porsche and the girls talk about me and talk about Chole and stuff, and I didn't like that." And Kelli said, "Well, Angela, I'm sorry for the part I played in. I'm sorry for the part I played in, and I apologize to you." She said, "Okay." She said, "When I talked to Shamea about it, Shamea said that she don't want to be in the middle of stuff. That between me and Porsha. But Kelli, I looked at that she was a married woman and she didn't do that. And then plus she told me Porsche didn't come her way." Now Kelli said, "You mean to tell me that Shamea told you that? That don't sound like Shamea. Why Shamea gonna tell you something? She just barely know you." She said, "I don't know if Shamea was drunk or something, but she told that to me and Drew. She told it to me and Drew." And then Kel said in her confession, if she said that, if she said that, that ain't right. Because you've been somebody's friend since childhood, you should have been at their wedding no matter what. And I was saying, that's why everybody knows this is a false relationship. Kelli, I don't know what you're talking about. And then it switched to the next scene. And the next scene was Britt and Mike. And Mike was asking Britt how would she get along with the girl. She thought she was gonna be cool with Angela at first. Don't seem like she cool with Angela, none of the other girls. And he was saying, "Why?" She said, "Yeah, because Angela been saying stuff to me, and I'm looking at Britt, you lied. When Kenya left, you started going for Angela and anybody else that you could to try to make you a storyline and stuff like that." And Mike said, "Oh, just watch him." And so it switched to the next scene, and the next scene, I think, was the last scene, which was Portia's pampered by what you call. They showed her 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 deceased cousin or her cousin, not deceased. Yeah, it is that. But anyway, they showed her cousin Lonnie, and Lonnie looked so good. It's like I said, I don't know what happened, but anyway, Lonnie looked good, and Porsha came around. She said, "Ooh, you got everything set up good, Lonnie." Everything. So yeah, just over here, just over there. And so yeah, whenever the girls come in, take them to the dressing rooms. They showed Cynthia getting all dolled up in the dressing room, shit about. And then they finally showed Drew, and Drew came already dressed up. And so like she had her little black lace one thing with the fitness with the fishnet stockings, all of them had fishnet stockings. And then Drew said after first, she said, "Yeah, everybody getting ready. We here preparing for about portion." She said, "Are we promoting are we promoting Pamela by portion?" She said, I know I'm not doing her bare naked hairline no more, but she went, and so she had all the girls together, and all the girls took a picture, and then Portia said in her confession that she got Eric Roberts because he's the most famous photographer, black photographer in Atlanta, so she did it, and then everybody took their pictures and stuff like that, and then it got to the end, and then and then and then and then and then after that they got to the end, and then they said let's talk, and so Lauren was talking, they was meditating, and then Lauren said, "Is it anything?" Lauren, the therapist, says, "Anything that anybody need to get out and talk about and do this and do that?" Nobody said nothing except for Shamea. Shamea said, "Yeah, I'm gonna say something." She said, "Portia, I didn't like I didn't like how dismissive you was toward me when I was trying to talk to you about certain things, and you said you couldn't talk to me at that time and stuff like that." And stuff like that. She said, I want to get understanding, Portia. I want to get understanding. And then Portia spoke up and said, "Shamea, this is not the place or time. I told you that we had already discussed that, and we had already discussed that behind the scenes, and we had got over that. Why you keep breaking it up?" She said, "But Portia, I want to find out how you really feel about the situation, how you really feel about our friendship and stuff, because I feel like that." And she said, well, I didn't like the way you went back and told Angela and Drew about the way you felt about me. You didn't even know them girls. We had a 10-year relationship. You had a problem with me. You could have told me behind the scenes." She said, "Portia, I didn't want to air this out in public. I did want to have this behind the scenes, but you didn't want to talk to me. You didn't want to talk to me." And then the episode went off. That was 10. 11, 11 started out with Angela and with Angela and Charles eating lunch and stuff like that. And so Angela gave a little backstory and said Charles don't like to go out that much, and Charles and sometimes Charles don't like to be affectionate in public and stuff like that. And that's why certain people think Charles don't really love her like her. But she said that's not it. And then she said Charles is a retired NBA player, and she said he also is a coach of the Big Three, which is Ice Cube's league, which Ice Cube league. And so they got to talking, and he said, "What's going on?" She said, "Yeah, I was talking to the girl and stuff like that, and they supposed to be having some kind of a party or whatever." And I think she said, "I want to talk to you about the situation that happened between you and my mama years ago." And she said, "I want to know exactly what happened. Charles Green tell me, he said ain't about nothing. He said, but I want to get it straight. He said ain't about nothing. That's water over the bridge just in the past. I really don't want to talk about that." And she said, "Well, okay, I just want to find out what was going on because I know my mama had kind of took up for me against you, and I wanted to find out what was going on." He said, "Everything is all right now, Angel." And so they moved on to the next scene. Let me get some water and I pause this for a minute. Okay, I'm back. The next scene is Shamea meets up with Cynthia for lunch, and they have a sit down. And Cynthia asks Shamea how she doing. Shamea says she's doing all right. And Shamea tells Cynthia that she didn't like that Angela went and told Porsha what she said because she don't like that Porsha look at her like she's not a good friend because she said what she said, and that really hurts her. And Cynthia told Shamea, it kind of reminds her of her situation that she had with Nene when her and Nene kind of fell out. And she was telling her that she didn't like it either. And she was telling Shamea that she's sorry that she felt that way. And hopefully her and Porsche could get back to a more positive side of their relationship. And Shamea said she hopes that too, but Shamea, that's a lost cause. Porsche only wants to be your friend because you're on the show. And now that people are liking you on the show and you got a peach, seems like it's affecting Porsche and stuff like that. And so on to the next scene. The next scene was Gail's in her kitchen cooking with her daughter, and her and her daughter was talking, and she was telling her daughter about she was tired of the divorce and it's going on too long, and she just so sorry that they have to move and the school they have to move and change place and stuff. And she was saying, "Oh, mom, everything will be okay." And then the cook walks in and she said, "Ooh, that smells good. That looks good. To see what I did." And she had fried some chicken over there. She told me everything that he done did good, everything she done did good. Switch to the next scene. And then the next scene was Drew on FaceTime her mama, telling her mama that she had an emergency meeting and that we went to an emergency meeting because Ralph was trying to get her lawyer accused off the case because the lawyer told her to get a separate LLC for Ju Juice. I mean, get a different LLC for 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 Juicadora LLC for Juicadora LLC, and she was saying that she had another Juicadora thing in 2005, and she said Ralph on 40% of that plus 40% of her new LLC, and she was saying that ain't right and stuff like that. And the mama told me, no, that sure ain't right. She said, I don't know why the judge agreed that Ralph could stay in that basement anyway. She said, well, I'll let you know, mama. She said, I'll be praying for you, Drew. And Drew said, yeah, pray for me and even all the people who want to see my downfall. I said, it sure is right. Not just only on that story, but it's some of these outside people want to see their downfall too. And then, and then after that, it switched. After that, it switched to Shamea, and we already know about Shamea being in the studio with her sister and stuff. I'm passed over that part. And then it switched back to Drew, and Drew was sitting at her house, and she said her mama came in because her mama felt that she should be there to support her daughter. And then Drew Mama was telling her that Ralph should wanted they had the camera going back and forth down toward the babies of Ralph could hear. And she was saying by Ralph being a man, he should want to provide for his family. He should want to not make his wife the mother of his kids look bad out in the public saying all that stuff. And she was telling Drew about her kids were bad and her kids weren't raised. So, when I have to raise my voice and about them, no, no. And then Drew got to crying. And then she told her mom she didn't realize that her kids were getting out of hand and stuff like that. But she was so busy trying to focus on herself. And then when the mama got crying, the cook came out of the kitchen, tried to comfort the mama. And then Drew told her mama that she really didn't mean to make her cry and stuff like that. She was gonna get stuff straightened out. And then it switched to after that. Drew, mama said she was gonna be okay, and Drew said she was gonna be okay, and stuff like that. After that, it switched to the next scene, and the next scene was the last scene where Portia was meeting Shamea at that dinner table. To me, that was a waste of time because every time the girl tried to say something, Portia would move around. She'd look at her phone, man. She'd look at her phone. She'd move her phone around. She'd pretend like she on the phone. And then that's when Shamea said, am I boring you? You running this, that, and that. And talking about Shamea, we already talked over this. We already talked over this. And Shamea said, Portia, I'm just trying to tell you, you seem like you don't want to hear my complaints. You don't want to hear me. It's like you being very submissive. Then Portia jumped up and ran in the bathroom, pretended like she was crying, but she came back out. And she said, I just want you to understand me. She said, I do. She come out there with that fake crying, and then both of them hugged and stuff. And you could tell when they hugged, Portia had her head down. She wasn't crying out one, but she don't even care about Shamea when they about this show. That's all I have for this video. This is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. I am